Good evening. Welcome to another Drama is Life, where we talk about mental and social topics over the lifespan, past, present, and future, and how it affects us in any of those areas. Hello, I am Theresa White, CEO and founder of In Time Creative Counseling Services, here with another great topic for you to give us feedback, ask questions, and to also share. So, again, if you have not already done so, please like and subscribe so that you will know when we're going to come in with these great conversations because these conversations are important conversations for us to have, of course, with regards to drama is life and mental and social topics. So, just to give you a disclaimer, anything that we talk about is for informational purposes. It's not to replace anything that you may be getting from a practitioner that you're working directly with. I also just want to let you know I am a licensed mental health counselor, registered drama therapist, an addiction certified addiction counselor, and a certified clinical trauma professional. I have been doing therapy for 15 years, so the information that I do give you is from personal experience and also from living in this profession and working here. So feel free to ask questions. We definitely want to make sure that we are answering any questions that come up in our feed, or if you want to send us a private message, you're welcome to do that as well. Tonight, I don't plan to be with you long. I just really hope that you will tune in and really hear. And when I mean tune in, I mean I know that we watch videos and we're not really watching them. We probably are watching them while we're watching a movie or we're kind of scrolling and we're doing something else or we're cooking dinner. But I really hope that you hear what we're talking about tonight because August is a very important month. We talk about all these national months that we have. We have, February, we have Black History Month, and then we have March, Women's History Month, and we've talked about all these different things and themes that we've had over the past several months, which I usually do. Tonight is not any different, but I think it's important for the topic that we're going to talk about tonight because tonight or August is National Black Business Month. Yes, National Black Business Month. And so I know that, we can talk about Black businesses, and that's what we're going to talk about all this month. So I want to start us off tonight. We're talking about and asking the question, do I really need to support Black owned businesses? And I hope after you hear this conversation, you will know the answer to that question. So I'm going to give three of particular reasons that I think are really important for you to support Black owned business. I know that there's a lot of negativity and negative words about Black owned business. And as we talked about before, with decreasing stigma, with Drama is Life, the purpose is for us to have these conversations so we can increase awareness and decrease stigma. So I want to decrease the stigma around Black owned businesses as well because as a Black owned business myself, as you know, I've already stated that I'm the CEO and founder of In Time Creative Counseling Services, which is a counseling agency where we offer individual, group, and particularly drama therapy. I am the only registered drama therapist in the state of Indiana that's African American at this time. And so I hear a lot of times that, people say positive words. I hear people say like, oh, we really enjoyed your service and we feel like, with what you do, this, should be how your business should be going, and they give their 2 cents on it. And typically very positive. But I also understand that there's a stigma that still goes around when it comes to supporting Black businesses. So I want to have a conversation around the reasons why you should support a Black owned business and why it's crucial. So, first of all, we know that we just came out of COVID, and some of us, and I won't say us, I mean, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. And some numbers in some areas, numbers are still booming, and people as a business owner are still being affected by coronavirus. Okay. So, I say that because the number one reason that I feel is because, first of all, it's cultural representation made for us by us. And I say that because a lot of Black business owners, and I speak for myself particularly, starting business, I started business with representation in mind. I wanted to get representation in this area of not only an African American therapist that is educated, but that is also giving quality services. And so I say that because, again, I know stigma goes out that is negative about Black owned businesses. And I'm not saying that business owners are perfect, but there's no perfect business owner. And so I want it to really be heard that the business owners, a lot of Black owned business owners, no matter where they may be, a lot of them start off with considering their culture in mind, that we're putting products out there that represent our culture, that represent the quality and authenticity of our culture, and that deserves attention. I definitely feel like it deserves support. And I say that because um, uh, we already know that there's a lot of times that African American business owners don't get the attention or get the accolades that is due. And I say that because I know from personal experience the education that I have. I know the education that I did to go to how many years I went to school, how much money I paid, and even with the letters behind my name, I have had to pay for every single letter behind my name and get educated to be able to adequately represent those letters. The same way if I put PhD or other, doctoral letters behind my name, I would have to pay for that to be able to represent that appropriately. And so I know that for Black owned businesses, it helps when you support a Black owned business to bridge that gap of representation and also representation in the wealth arena. When people talk about, making and coming to the table, a lot of things that Black owned businesses will do, whether the person owns hair care or they serve food or they do a product that is for the community, they are doing it with authenticity, quality. Most are doing it with authenticity, quality, and culture in mind. And that alone speaks volumes because we think it's important. We have been in enough spaces, I speak again for myself, been in enough spaces where there's not a lot of representation that has our voice, our culture, and the quality that we want when we come to a service. We want to feel heard and we want it to be authentic, say authentic. We want it to be authentic when we are coming to a space and when we're giving our money, and we know that money is hard earned and a lot of times, and we want to not just be giving it to any and everybody. And just because something is a big booming Fortune 500 corporation or company doesn't always mean that they have you in mind, um, in the African American community, or they have the culture in mind. And so that's my number one reason, I guess, my one reason. That's my one reason why I feel like, or why I would say that supporting Black owned businesses is really important. Excuse me. And so that kind of bridges with number two is that wealth gap is huge. Now, again, we talked about with COVID, um, COVID affected a lot of businesses. But the same way with those Fortune 500 businesses and those big corporations, they may have got hit, but a lot of times their business is still booming. It's still going. It's still strong. Um, it's still got employees. And a lot of the Black owned businesses, unfortunately, is done by sole proprietors um, or one owned person, or owned by one person. And so there's not a lot of revenue for a small business that's just starting out with a Black owned business. A lot of times the money is not there to have 500, to 1,000 employees to keep the business running that way. So if in the middle of a pandemic, like just happened in the last couple of years, if that business is hit pretty hard and support is dropped, or they just got started, so they didn't really get to get off the ground like they really wanted to, or they didn't really get to get their footing in, then a lot of times those businesses and a lot of Black owned businesses in the last few years really did have to shut their doors. And I know of a few of them. And so that's another reason why I believe that Black-owned businesses should be supported in the community. And I'm not just talking about supported by African Americans, but supported by everyone in the community because it keeps, again, people employed. That's number one. And it also can open doors for other people to be employed. That business, and as we already have heard in the news and everywhere else, and we know that small businesses is what really keeps the economy going. So imagine how many of those small businesses are Black owned. And if they are supported, they can keep running, keep moving, keep offering those services. And I will throw this little side note in there. If there's moments where you're like, I didn't get treated well, the same way Fortune 500 companies or big corporations got feedback and they get to hear, this is how you were treated, or this, or how I was treated. I want you to make it better. We give them opportunity to change and to improve. So please also do the same for Black owned businesses. That's a side note for there. If there happened to be a bad experience that you may have had for a Black or with a Black owned business. So again, it bridges that wealth gap. And how much richness of community, number three, of community can you give? And again, showing generations behind us that we can own some things too. And I will say too, because it's generally represented pretty well in the media that other cultures are owning houses and cars and doing all these great big things, again, that give you wealth. But again, representation for our community and our culture is not as widespread as it should be. And so that's another reason why. Is because imagine, during those holidays when you're telling different stories about family members, you can tell stories about how grandma and grandpa owned their own business. And I love hearing those kind of things because I have grandparents who, um, ran farms and did different types of things. And it's really nice to be able to hear how they took care of their families by running a business, by doing those types of things. Because it also, they may have been maybe dead and gone, but it still is my blood, their blood running through me. That's still the connection of my ancestors. And so it's really important that we hear those stories. And so it's important if we're supporting that our community, our young men and our young women can see representation of business owners in their own community. And I think that speaks volumes. And for those who are already supporting, thank you, thank you, thank you. There's multiple ways that you can support businesses, even if you don't go or you don't need their services yourself. People that you do know that need services, whatever that service is that that business may be offering or providing, referrals are huge, huge to Black business owners. So if you're answering the question of, do I really need to support? And you're saying yes, I hope by now you're saying yes. Please give referrals. Please let people know that we're here and we're not just here willy nilly. Anyone who knows, um, or I will speak from again for myself, I can't speak for everybody, but a lot of what I do, I go above and beyond what other business owners have done or are doing. And a lot of Black business owners that I know go above and beyond to offer great, great service. I mean, great quality services to their patrons. So it's really important that we are given that example of excellence because we already go above and beyond anyway with the majority of what we do. But given that legacy of excellence to generations behind us, I think speaks volumes. And as I said, I wasn't going to keep you long tonight. I just really wanted you to hear this. I know you want to get back to your movie, back to cooking and relaxing for the rest of your evening. But I would love for you to share in the comments reasons why you feel that Black businesses should be supported. I would love to hear your answer to this question on tonight. Do I really need to support Black owned businesses? I would love to hear your answer and your reason. I'll be able to read those. So even if you're watching this and it's not the live and you're watching the replay or the recorded version, please still give your answer because I do come back and read those. So I would love to hear some of the answers for this. I don't think we push enough how much support Black-owned businesses need so that, again, we can bridge that culture gap and have representation for us that's quality, and that also we can bridge that wealth gap and share the legacy with generations to come so that they can pick up maybe even where some of the foremothers and forefathers left off. And then they can also be business owners and legitimate business owners with great jobs, great wealth that's coming in, that's also going to give property and be able to bring ownership to things. And again, true wealth to the Black community, African American communities. So, again, I'll let you get back to your evening. I hope that something that I've said has sparked. If you have been spending your green dollars everywhere else but Black owned businesses, let the month of August be a month that you really show your support for a Black owned business or a few of them. Even if it's just to go by and say thank you for being here. We can't get enough accolades. And I think it would be really beneficial for you to show your support by stopping in, by asking questions about the business if you don't know what it's about, and by also sending referrals. So hopefully you have enjoyed this conversation on tonight, and hopefully we will see you with future conversations. We talk about Black-owned businesses in these upcoming weeks. You guys have a great, great week. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. And hopefully I'll see you in the comments as well as I read some of what you